hard was it to have Easter without Joe this year?
Well, every holiday's, hard that he wasn't around.
Listen, I love you, bro, and I miss you. That's why I don't like to talk to you, bro, because you really break my heart.
Bro, I'm doing everything I could, man. Enough is enough of this man.
I know, but just be strong.
All right, bro, love you.
Love you too, man.
I mean, obviously, it's been very hard. It's probably, one of the hardest things they've gone through, especially for the girls, I think even more so than Teresa. They're devastated. They really are. It's the most devastating thing. And the biggest problem is that no one has any power. We can't fix it. You can't pay any amount of money to fix it. These girls still have a lot of time with like events and graduations and weddings and babies and so many things. And it's such a shame if their father can't be here for it. This man has lived here since he's a baby, and he has 4 daughters here, and he's been married for 20 years. And it's really crazy to me that he can't, he did do his time.
And how has your brother stepped up for your girls?
Oh, he's been amazing. I mean, he's adored Gia since the day she was born, and they still keep that relationship. Like, anytime Gia has a problem, because her dad wasn't here, and she wasn't able to call him, right away, she would either call me or my brother, which I love that.
How does it feel to see your brother and Melissa being so supportive of Joe after all that you've all been through in the past?
Shame on you.
Stick with your sister.
I'm not sticking with scum like you.
Apologize.
No! Stop! Stop hurting us!
Well, I mean, that's what family does.
Yeah,
They're supposed to be
family
supportive.
does.
I wouldn't expect anything less. That's how we always were. Family should be there no matter what.
For us, it's just watching them suffer. It really is. It's like we can never get to a place where it's like we're not worrying about Teresa. It's like we're always worrying about Teresa and the girls and what they're going through. And we would love to see everyone settled and happy. And this saga has been going on for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. It's been going on so long that we're exhausted of it all. And for them too, just like we just want everyone to be at a place of peace, The
other women have suggested that you're only with Marty to keep the house. Is that true?
It's so funny to me that when people want to tell my story and they don't even know what my story is, that it translates to just bullshit. Marty's in love with me. And I don't use that against Marty. Eventually, someone feels it in their gut, and Marty did. Margaret's having a hard time believing that I could actually have a home that's nicer than hers.
I just think that the whole thing, it never seemed real to me from the beginning. Like when I was a bridesmaid in her wedding, I thought that was odd. I just thought the whole thing from the time I watched the two of them prepare for their wedding, 2 days before the wedding, the night before, everything just seemed like it wasn't real. I think that it was her way to she loved that home, she just decorated it, she just got into it, she wanted to keep it, and she was gonna do what she had to do to keep the house.
Why did Marty agree to this arrangement?
I don't have to do much because we have genuine feelings for one another or we wouldn't have gotten married. Contrary to what Margaret would like to believe, I truly did love Marty with all my heart. The only reason Marty and I stayed in the house together, and still do, is because I have not bought it from him yet. Am I buying it from him? Yes. Am I working on that? Yes. Does he have a deposit? Yes. Is he giving me time? Yes. So the only reason I'm in the house is because I'm buying the house.
I know Danielle for a very long time. She's always been able to get what she wants from men. That's all. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead. She should give a class. I would buy a ticket. I would go. I would go.
So we find out that you were with Oliver, but you and Marty were also sleeping together. Can you give us a definitive timeline of these two relationships?
Oh, timeline. Let me think for a moment.
What's going on with you and Marty? Are you together with him?
I'm not sure I want to use that word.
Oh, okay. Wait, what's going on with Oliver?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you know if her and Marty were together at the same time she was with Oliver?
I guess that's something you would have to ask Danielle.
January? January. January when it started, and February before it got solidified and the drunk Danielle made it public in the south of Provence, and made certain that I was faithful and loyal to a degree. There were weak moments with Marty, but he's living in the house with me, and let's face it, we were married, you know? It's not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're lonely and you're trying to figure out why you're with this other person who now all of a sudden you're really not with him. Like, I didn't spend a lot of time with Oliver.
I mean, listen, that's their, you know, that's their business.
It was a very confusing time for everybody.
So the sprinkle cookies are back.
Oh.
No way.
Happy Easter! I brought you sprinkle cookies.
Oh, thank you. This is what I wanted. Oh my God.
Can you tell us about how this feud started?
Everybody loves that we argue over cookies, and if we look at how big of an argument that was about 10 years ago to what it is now, we've come a long way.
Melissa came to my house Christmas Day. She brought me sprinkle cookies. I threw them in the garbage.
I was pregnant at the time and wanted the sugary, bright, colorful sprinkle cookie. Major problem for her.
How do you feel about sprinkle cookies now?
I still don't like them. Yeah, I mean, they don't even taste good.
She just feels like they're a cheap cookie, and she feels like she likes pinoli cookies. They're a little more expensive. They have the nuts on top.
Yeah, I mean, the kids like them. I don't like them.
I can't stand them.
I can't. They don't even taste good.
I like the almondy cookies. They have like those nuts on them. What
I like
are they
those
called? They're
chocolate
like
ones.
Pignolis.
Like
those are good.
What's the chocolate ones? Like they're like caramelly, sticky. They're so good. They're flat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I love those.
Oh, they have like crunchies on top.
Yeah. It looks like a snowflake, a chocolate snowflake.
That's good
Yes,
too.
yeah, chocolate. So yeah, I love those. I love pinoli
They're my favorite
cookies.
too,
Like
yeah.
those. I love cookies that you go buy at a bakery. Even though they do sell
They
sprinkle
sell them there,
cookies
but they're
at
on
a
the top
bakery.
of the thing. Like if you,
And they
not
fall
for me.
apart and they're messy. They don't even taste good.
I think it's safe to say that the sprinkle cookie feud is over.
How did it feel hearing your dad say that your eating disorder was almost worth it?
I think he didn't choose his words well.
You're a good inspiration to kids who are heavy.
I mean, I battled a very terrible, terrible eating disorder for
Well, yeah, was it?
20
you know
years.
something? It's almost worth it.
Are you insane?
Are you insane?
Are
Look-
you
look at
insane?
you now.
Don't even say
You're the-
that.
you're the
You
take-
don't know
you're the
what I
sign
went
for
through.
the-
I almost died.
I don't think my father would ever imply that me getting close to death was ever worth anything. I think what he was saying is that he knows how upset I was being overweight. He was looking at like black and white, like that's what you were then, this is what you are now, and he sees how happy I am in my skin now, and he says, whatever you had to do to get here was worth it, because look how unhappy you were and look how happy you are. I think it came across really poorly. What upset me more than the actual words was that my little girl was sitting next to me, and here's this man say, whatever you have to do to get thin, even if you almost die doing it, it's worth it.
Is it triggering at all to hear those harsh comments?
No, comments don't really trigger me. It's more like internal. I still have a hard time sometimes with certain foods. If you watch the way I eat, sometimes it's very apparent. I'm triggered by the numbers on the scale. I'm triggered by the way my clothes fit. I'm triggered by like being in certain food environments, but I'm not triggered by like people saying things usually.
While you and your kids are watching this video of you, your daughter says out loud, "You're pretty," when she sees you.
You're pretty.
I was over 200 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't think I was pretty at all, and I was looking at myself and thinking, how could you let yourself get like that? And then like this little girl who loves me so much, but I don't know, and then I question it. I don't know if she's honestly telling me that I'm pretty, or if she sees that I'm looking at myself with such like hatred,
Disgust or whatever.
and making sure I know that like she loves me and like trying to make me feel better, you know? So I don't know. I don't know if she was really telling me that I'm pretty or just trying to make me feel better.
It came across when I watched it that she just saw you in your dress and said, you know, "You're pretty."
I know.
So
it
was a nice moment.
You looked adorable. So
I know.
you know what I mean? You had a genuine smile on your face.
At Easter, you bring up David and Dolores' situation in front of the family. Why did you do that?
You're stronger in numbers.
Hey guys, just to let you know, all holidays after this will be at the new house in Franklin Lakes of David and Dolores.
Shut up, Frank.
Is there anything I should know? You know, just being the father over here.
I'm just trying to finish the house.
That's the
Let's
goal.
finish the house.
Other than myself and my children, the strongest influence on Dolores is her family. So if her family gets on David as well, she can't get mad at me if I put too much pressure on David.
He was trying to protect me, but I won't say Frank hasn't gone to bat for me.
Do you think that he's the right guy for Dolores?
In Dolores' mind, yes, I do. In Dolores' mind, I think he's the right guy for Dolores.
But in your mind?
Listen, I know what Dolores likes, all right? And David is so different than what Dolores used to like, you know? But I know Dolores, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. Dolores is madly in love with him. Madly in love with him. She can say what she wants, all right? But she is. I just hope they're on the same page.
He comes and tells me, you know, don't expect anything more, because I don't see it in him, and this is coming from a man who knows.
Frank said that to you about David? Don't expect anything more, but how long ago was that? I feel like David's been making more of an effort, though.
You know, I think the effort's limited, to tell you the truth, and I'm not one for pillow talk or bullshit. So we'll see. I think it wouldn't be in David's best interest not to do the right thing.
It's gonna come to a point now, the house is being done, it's gonna be finished, and David's gonna be moving into the house, and Dolores is gonna have to make a decision. And Dolores has opened up her mouth many times. I'm not moving in without a commitment. So let's see what happens. I think she likes the relationship now that she has with David. Everything's nice, but it needs to progress along, all right? And I think Dolores is not one to just sit around.
Would you want marriage if it was on your terms? Or you don't even care about the marriage?
I've been single 21 years. For me to get married, it better be on my terms. And it would be worth it for anybody, because my terms would only be fair.
I don't think it's a big enough commitment for Dolores, no. I think if her name was on the house, it would be.
Right.
Like I always tell her, I'm like, big deal, a fucking ring, a house is worth a lot more money. So I said, if you put your name on the house, that's a commitment. If your name's not on the house, it's not a commitment.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's happy with the step, but I don't think it's as far as she needs him to go.
But I feel like deep down inside, she would, if he ever got on one knee, she'd 100%.
Is building the house the commitment that you are looking for right now? Like him building
the house?
the
You know what the house means to me? I'll tell you what that house means to me. I don't care that I built that house from the studs up. I picked out everything in it that is so absolutely beautiful. But at the end of the day, that's just a house. So where do I stand if this guy says, oh, you're gonna live with me, this is your commitment, and then one day somebody winks their eyes, or somebody a little younger than me comes along and bats their eyes and gives him a little attention, and him and I maybe had an argument that morning. He comes home to that house and says, you're out, because if my name isn't on it, I don't have a commitment. And as beautiful as it is and as hard as it is, I also know that I can walk away from that if I have to, knowing that another woman's gonna walk into it. And that makes me physically sick, but I'll get over it.